The quest to understand human freedom and autonomy has been a central theme in philosophy and literature, evolving through various intellectual movements. This video explores the development of the concept of free will through the lenses of transcendentalism, modernism, and postmodernism. Each movement emerges from its own unique historical and cultural context, offering distinct perspectives on human nature. Part 1. Transcendentalism. In the early 19th century, America saw the rise of transcendentalism, a philosophical and literary movement that sought to transcend the empirical and the material, aiming instead to find spiritual and intuitive truths. Pioneered by thinkers such as Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau, transcendentalism emphasized the inherent goodness of people and nature. Ralph Waldo Emerson, one of the most influential transcendentalists, articulated his vision in his seminal work, Nature. Emerson argued that by immersing ourselves in the natural world, we could gain a deeper understanding of the universe and our place within it. Nature, he believed, was a divine manifestation, a way to connect with the spiritual essence of existence. This perspective encouraged individuals to seek solace and inspiration in the natural environment, fostering a sense of unity with the world around them. Another cornerstone of Emerson's philosophy was the concept of self-reliance. Detailed in his essay, Self-Reliance, Emerson championed the idea that individuals should trust their inner voice and intuition over societal expectations and conformity. By doing so, one could achieve true independence and authenticity. This emphasis on personal intuition and individualism was a radical departure from the prevailing social norms and laid the groundwork for a more profound exploration of free will. Transcendentalism posited that individuals possess an innate ability to make choices and shape their destinies. Grounded in their connection to the divine and the natural world, this belief in the power of personal intuition and self-reliance underscored a fundamental aspect of free will: the capacity to act independently of external constraints. In this light, transcendentalism can be seen as a precursor to later philosophical discussions on autonomy and moral agency. Part 2. Free will. The concept of free will has long been a topic of philosophical debate, questioning whether humans are truly autonomous agents capable of making independent choices, or if their actions are determined by external forces. This debate spans centuries, engaging philosophers like Kant, Sartre, Freud, Skinner, and more, with arguments emphasizing perspectives from moral autonomy to existential freedom. Some philosophers advocate for compatibilism, the idea that free will and determinism are not mutually exclusive based on the false dichotomy fallacy portrayed by the argument. Compatibilism suggests that even in a deterministic universe, individuals can exercise meaningful choice and moral responsibility. This view reconciles the tension between the apparent randomness of free will and the predictability of deterministic laws. The interplay between genetics and environment significantly influences human behavior as well. While our genetic makeup predisposes us to certain traits and behaviors, our environment shapes how these traits manifest. Understanding this complex interaction is crucial in exploring the boundaries of free will. It raises questions about how much control we truly have over our actions and to what extent we can change ourselves and our circumstances. Sigmund Freud and B.F. Skinner offered deterministic perspectives on human behavior. Freud's psychoanalytic theory emphasized unconscious drives and early childhood experiences as determinants of behavior. Skinner's behaviorism focused on the role of environmental conditioning, arguing that our actions are shaped by reinforcement and punishment. These views challenge the notion of free will, suggesting that our choices are heavily influenced, if not entirely dictated, by factors beyond our conscious control. The question of whether there is room for free will in a deterministic world remains open. Philosophical discourse continues to explore this tension, examining the implications for morality, responsibility, and human agency. Despite deterministic influences, many argue that humans possess a degree of autonomy that allows for genuine choice and self determination. Part 3. Modernism. Modernism emerged in the early 20th century as a response to the dramatic changes brought by industrialization, technological advancements, and other things. It sought to capture the complexities of the modern world through new forms of expression, breaking away from the traditional structures and narratives. Modernism was characterized by a dramatic change of thought, whereby individuals use intellect to improve the human environment. Modernism brought about a reform in all spheres of life, including philosophy, commerce, art, and literature. With the aid of science, technology, and experimentation, this led to progress in many spheres of life by changing the approach of mankind towards them. It often features a break with traditional forms and an exploration of new perspectives. This can be seen in the abstract art of Pablo Picasso, the stream of consciousness writing of James Joyce, and the experimental architecture of Frank Lloyd Wright. Through philosophy and science, modernism attempted to reform society and free humankind from its previous problems. For instance, liberalism, socialism, and communism are all prominent forms of modernist politics. Modernist literature and art often grapple with the concept of free will, depicting characters who struggle to find meaning and assert their autonomy in a chaotic and fragmented world. Part 4. Postmodernism. Postmodernism emerged in the mid 20th century as a reaction against the certainty and grand narratives of modernism and was influenced by the disenchantment brought on by the Second World War. It embraced skepticism, irony, and the deconstruction of established truths, reflecting the growing complexity and ambiguity of contemporary life. Postmodernism questions the very foundations of knowledge and reality, challenging the notion of objective truth. Postmodernism is characterized by its celebration of plurality, paradox, and fluidity of meaning. It rejects the idea of absolute truth and convention, instead embracing multiple perspectives and interpretations. This can be seen in the eclectic and often contradictory nature of postmodern art, literature, and architecture. Postmodernists ascribe to the notion that modernist ideals can never be attained because of differences among human beings in general, attacking the belief of rationality, objectivity, and universalism in favor of relativism, the view that there is no objective truth. Grand narratives like freedom, societal progress, and scientific progress were all criticized by postmodernists, who instead emphasized that difference rather than unity should be celebrated. In the postmodern view, free will is often seen as an illusion, with individuals navigating a web of social, cultural, and linguistic constructs that shape their perceptions and actions. Postmodern literature and film frequently depict fragmented and decentered characters, emphasizing the difficulty of establishing a coherent and autonomous self in a world defined by complexity and ambiguity. This perspective challenges the traditional notions of free will and autonomy, suggesting that our choices are deeply influenced by the discourses and structures that surround us. In conclusion, the philosophical journey from transcendentalism to postmodernism reveals an evolving understanding of free will, human nature, and the interplay between determinism and autonomy. Transcendentalism's emphasis on intuition and self-reliance laid the groundwork for later discussions of personal autonomy. Modernism's exploration of fragmentation and complexity questioned the stability of the self and possibility of genuine free will. Postmodernism's radical skepticism further challenged the notion of autonomy, emphasizing the constructed and contingent nature of reality. Despite these challenges, the question of free will remains central to our understanding of human existence. As we navigate our own lives, the insights offered by these philosophical movements encourage us to reflect on our capacity for choice and self-determination. In an ever-changing world, the search for meaning and autonomy continues to be a profound and enduring endeavor.